Let's have a look at what happens tomorrow, because India is taking on Sri Lanka and this is happening in Mumbai. Like I said, Sri Lanka have a whole lot of concerns with the list of people on their injury list. India, of course, riding high, 6 wins on a trot, seem to be doing everything right up until now. Like, we don't want to jinx anything, but seem to be doing everything right. But Joyda, just because we were on the discussion of injuries, main concern for Sri Lanka, yes, their form hasn't been good. You always wonder which team is going to come show up. They beat England, but then they lose to Afghanistan. So you don't know which team is going to show up. So for Sri Lanka, main concern, the injuries?
I think injuries, B, is that, I mean, they've looked very good as a side in parts, despite those injuries, but they just looked overmatched at this point in time. Perhaps not Hasaranga not being there, a lot of their first choice players not being there. Of course, in some sense, I think Chamira has managed to join them, right?
Yeah.
Which actually happened because one of the players got injured. So Chamira would have been easily a first choice bowler had he been there available at the start of the tournament. So it's gone both ways for them. I think at this point in time, this Sri Lankan side's basic problem is their batting needs to come good again. I mean, they had a brief part in the start where their batting really did well even when they were not winning matches. And I think their batting needs to come well.
DK, only Nissanka kind of stood out in the last game, but like Joyda is saying, batting's not really coming to the party, and then of course the injury concerns.
They're a team which is probably confused right now. Look, if you look at how they've gone about things, their find of this tournament has been Sadira Samaravikrama, who's been brilliant.
Absolutely.
Kusal Mendes, again, like Devon Conway, started brilliantly but hasn't had much since the time he's become a captain. Pathum Nissanka, their best find in the last 2 years now. He's been brilliant. He's been the batter of the tournament for them, outstanding. Post that, they've had Charit Asalanka has been very quiet. At number 6, Dhananjaya De Silva has had a very, very ordinary tournament with the bat. Angelo Matthews just walked in a couple of games ago. Had a good game against England, but a very ordinary game against Afghanistan. And if you see Tikshana, he hasn't been picking wickets for them. The fast bowlers, Dilshan Madhunshankar, the most impressive of them. Kasun Rajita has not been bad. They will now think, should they play Dunit Velalage, thinking India against slow left-arm spin is a good matchup. If they want to do that, they have to either let go of Chamira or Kasun Rajita. That's the choice they have to make. And they are in a very confused state and a tough place right now, because I know deep down they know that they're not going to be able to make it into the semis unless they have 3 brilliant games, because their run rate also is not great. Yeah. So, you know, it's going to be a hard ask for them, and they're coming up against the best team in this tournament. So it's going to be one hell of a hard game if they don't turn up tomorrow with the right mindset.
DK, would you play Velalage in Mumbai? Given the fact that
it is a hard one. But how I am looking at it is the best matchup. If you're batting first, that's the one bowler who can trouble you. But if you're batting second, it becomes a bit of an issue with the dew. But I would still definitely think about him. He's got he's bowled well against India in Asia Cup.
Exactly.
He's somebody who's been in good rhythm.
But like De Silva hasn't really gotten the run, so why not play like a Velalage in place of De Silva?
But then, as it is, their batting is doing ordinarily. You remove one more batsman, they're going to be struggling a lot. And their batting has actually been not batting, their middle order batting. Yes. For Dasun Shanaka, Dhananjaya De Silva haven't fired for some time now. Charit has been good pre-World Cup, but in World Cup he's been very okay. Nothing much to write home about. So they have a few questions. They are pretty much in the bottom of the table, and you can understand why, not bottom, but they are struggling as a team, because when they played England, they felt like a team which could, obviously match up and fight against a few opponents. But they played timid, very ordinary cricket against Afghanistan. They were completely outclassed with bat, ball and field, and that is not a good sign for a team.
Yeah, you know what, Dick has made a very important point that, it's not so much how Velalage, one is the pitch in Wankhede, which plays a particular way. But if India batsman has had a weakness, I mean, Velalage bowled very well against India in the Asia Cup. Secondly, India traditionally, which is very surprising because we are considered great players of spin, has been troubled by its left-arm spin. It has been troubled by left-arm spin in the recent past. We haven't really been the best players of left-arm spin, given all the conditions. Now, suppose I'm Sri Lanka, okay? I'm Sri Lanka. The odds are, say, 20-18 in my favour. I'm looking at this team and saying, so what I always believe in is a team who has got a lower chance must throw the game, change the dynamics of the game. So I would bring in a spinner. I would change whatever it takes for me to make this match work. I would bring back Kushal Perera. Because I say that he's had a terrible tournament. But Kushal Perera is a match winner if he can get going. And if he doesn't get going, hey, everyone thinks they're going to lose this match anyway. So I would play out of left feet. I'd bring back Kushal Pereira, for whom I'm not sure. But at this point, even Dhananjay, then he's not bowling that much, but they might. So bring him back, bring in Velalage, change something. Because if everything remains normal, India will win 9 times out of 10. Correct. I have to change something.
So like you said, they need to surprise India because India seems to just hitting all the right notes and doing everything right. If we have to be like this strict professor and who says that, you've done everything right, but this one thing is not ticking, it probably would be Shreyas has struggled against the short ball. We saw it again in the last match. If at all, because Hardik's not going to be fit for tomorrow's game, I'm presuming. So would you all move Shreyas around at all or still back him against Sri Lanka?
Look, if you're going to get Shreyas out, then who do you want to bring in? That's a question that you have to ask yourself. That at this point, if you see the lineup, the only person who's a natural fit, then you'll have to go with Ishan Kishan because you're going to bring a batsman in that case. That's your only option. Now, you could do that. But my point is that the way India has played throughout this tournament, their policy has been, this is our team, this is our set team and we are going with it. The only change that they really made was to accommodate the situation that Hardik Pandya is not there, therefore I have to get a better bowler in. That's all they managed to change. And I think that's the point, that's their template. I think it's a bit early to change Shreyas and they will try and give him a match against Sri Lanka definitely.
And we know that Shreyas also likes playing spin. He's used to playing at the Wankhede Stadium. So all this going in favor of him. Like I said, if you just had to be a strict professor, but otherwise, DK, India doing pretty much everything right and knowing that they're playing against Sri Lanka, who's, well, let's face it, not in the top 4 teams for like when you think of like a South Africa or a New Zealand or an Australia. So Sri Lanka, India already going in confident into tomorrow's game.
Very confident. I mean, they'll be sitting in the trident licking their lips, I'm sure. They'd want to get to that game very, very fast. So it's a game where India will be, I hope India get to bat first, only because I think that's an area they need to be challenged. The last time they batted in Lucknow, when they batted first, there was a bit of, tremors up top before Rohit Sharma again produced a masterclass. But more importantly, the bowling stood out brilliantly. For me, Shreyas Iyer is a player you need to back. I think it's a player that Rohit Sharma will back. It's a player India needs to back. It's a player who, when he bats, can actually give you good results. Yes, the only cause of concern is, is he getting out the same way? But it's okay. Everybody has to get out while batting. It doesn't matter how you get out. It's about what you do when you do well. And I think when he does well, he's able to give you a couple of good results as a batter. He's been someone who's done well in ODI cricket as a country, as a team, as a nation. I think we need to back the boy. He's a young kid who has the potential to win you matches. Home conditions, Wankhede is born and brought up in Bombay. He'll be looking forward to this. His family will be there watching him. First World Cup game at home. Everything going his way. I have a lot of time for Ishan Kishan, but I think for the moment, I think we should back Shreyas Iyer, and India need to just go and keep doing things like how India is doing right now. They're brilliant to watch. They're playing a beautiful blend of cricket. It's just great to watch them go about things, led by a captain who exactly knows what he wants to be doing every moment during the game, and I don't think you can ask for anything better than that.